call the order of the BZA for Wednesday, February the 22nd. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Quick order of what's going to happen tonight. So we're going to hear the case. The case will be presented by staff. The applicant will then have the opportunity to speak on the case that's present tonight. Then the public will have an opportunity to speak for or against the motion this evening, and then we will close that public portion. And then what will happen is the board will call anyone that have spoken this evening up before the podium and ask them some questions. And then after that, we will then make a motion to either approve or deny the motion tonight. And after that, we have some business that's not necessarily germane to yourself. You're more than welcome to stay for the entire meeting. You don't have to. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Owens?
Present.
Mr. Bartle?
Here.
Mr. Shupp?
Here.
Mr. Saito?
Present.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes, here. So the first thing we have on our order tonight is we need to swear in Mr. Saito for a full-time member of the Board of Zoning Appeals. And so I will go down here and I'll swear you in. Who's notary?
I will give it to Mr. Solman. He'll be in tomorrow. I can print one out.
It's fine.
I, James J. Saito,
I, James J. Saito,
solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution
solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the resolutions of Colerain Township,
and the resolutions of Colerain Township,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
will faithfully discharge the duties
of a primary member
of a primary member
of the Board of Zoning Appeals
of the Board of Zoning Appeals
in and for Colerain Township,
in and for Colerain Township,
Hamilton County,
Hamilton County,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And we'll have you sign some for the narrative, because we should have.
Sure. Fair.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the next order of business we have is we annually elect officers in February, so you have to be in the door of that process tonight as well. And so we typically start from the bottom up. We have 3 offices that are elected. There's secretary, there's vice chair, and chair. So we will start in the secretary. Do we have a nomination for secretary tonight? Nobody want to speak up? I will, go ahead.
I will nominate Ms. Owens for secretary.
Okay, do we have any other nominations?
I would nominate Mark Shoup.
All right, Mr. Mark Shupp, you've been nominated. Are you both willing to run?
Yes.
Okay. All right, anyone else? All right, we need to vote on, I guess we'll do the majority vote for each party, or each side.
Is that how that works?
He's looking at me all starry-eyed like I would. So we'll start with Ms. Owens, and we'll vote, yay or nay. Actually, we'll just vote yay, and we won't have to worry about that. So if you're in favor of Ms. Owens being the secretary, please say by a yay, and I guess you do a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Bartle?
Yes.
Mr. Shupp? Abstain?
Abstain.
Mr. Saito?
Abstain.
Okay, and I'll be the tiebreaker. I'll say yes. So Ms. Owens will be the secretary for this term, Next would be the vice chair position. And we have a recommendation or nomination for that.
I'll nominate Mr. Bartlow.
Okay, Mr. Bartle. And any other nominations? Are we willing to accept that?
Yes.
Okay. I see none. We'll do a roll call vote.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Bartle?
Yes.
Mr. Shupp?
Yes.
Mr. Saito?
Yes.
Mr. Berto?
Yes. So that is taken care of. And then for the chair position.
I'll nominate Mr. Roberto to be chair of the board.
And I'll accept anyone else that willing to run. I see none. Roll call vote.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Bartle?
Yes.
Mr. Shupp?
Yes.
Mr. Saito?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Get all that silliness out of the way. Now we can move on to the case in hand. So we have a case that we need to swear in the applicants. So if you are planning on speaking before the board tonight, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm you will tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth before the Board of Zoning Appeals? Say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. So the first case we're going to have tonight would be BZA 2023-01. The applicant who's representing the property owner is requesting the expansion of a non-conforming use. Property located at 9017 Colerain Avenue, parcel number 510-0104-0127-00. Applicant is Stephanie Myers, and the property owner is Schroth Brothers LLC. Does the staff have a presentation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So as you stated, this is BZA case 2023-01. The property owner is requesting an expansion of a non-conforming use. The location is 9017 Colerain Avenue. Applicant Stephanie Myers, and the owner is Schroth Properties LLC. So you can see it's located between Cross County and 275, almost dead center in the middle there. Located at the intersection of, I believe that is
Pool and Colerain.
and Colerain.
Correct.
There it is. So you can see it's located right on that corner. There's an aerial with kind of the surrounding roads. It's located in the B2 district. It's surrounded by a plethora of different zoning districts, PDB, B2, or R5 is not directly adjacent, but is close. There's, again, an aerial with some of the property information. It's about a third of an acre, just over that. There's the property maps kind of showing, again, the zoning districts. It's completely immersed in B2 and adjacent to B2, and then PDB in the rear of the property. There's property maps. There's the topography. There is a bit of topography there, but it's pretty flat in some areas. Here's a street view kind of showing the property from Pool Road. There are 2 units on the property. The left one would be Visiting Angels, and then the one on the right would be the proposal in front of you today. And then this is from Colerain Avenue. Again, you can kind of see the topography there, a little bit of a change. The applicable zoning resolution is Article 11, subsection 8, the whole of it, so 11.8.1, 11.8.2, 11.8.3, and 11.8.4. Just looking at the expansion of a non-conforming use. There we go. So the proposed plan, the applicant, Stephanie Myers, on behalf of the property owner, Schroth Property LLC, proposed to include plans to request the expansion of a non-conforming use. The applicant is proposing a change of use from professional office, it was previously a dentist, to a bar tavern use located at 9017 Colerain Avenue. The use is allowed in the B2 district and meets many zoning resolution standards, including parking, footprint, a lot of your standards, but it doesn't meet, it's a non-conforming property, which is why it is in front of you today. And staff deem this could be an expansion of a non-conforming, an expansion of a non-conforming use. There it is, which is for you all to decide there tonight. Here is the proposed floor plan. It is under 1,000 square feet, I think just under, and you can see kind of the layout that is being proposed there. Here's the parking and traffic flow that was provided as well. So submitted in your packet for review was the variance review criteria. So this is not a variance, but it's still a sufficient review criteria that we could use to make a judgment on, as well as the Duncan factors, which is, again, something that we're steering towards as staff looks at applications coming through. So staff's findings, it is staff's opinion that the property in question will not yield a reasonable return without the expansion of the use. It is staff's opinion that the request itself is not substantial in nature. It is staff's opinion that the essential character of the neighborhood would not be substantially altered, or whether adjoining properties would suffer a substantial detriment as a result of the expansion of the use. It is staff's opinion that granting the expansion of the use would not adversely affect the delivery of government services. It is staff's opinion the property owner purchasing the property did have knowledge of the zoning restrictions. It is staff's opinion that the property owner's predicament feasibly can be obviated through some method other than expansion of the use. It is staff's opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed and substantial justice done by granting the expansion of the use. With that, staff recommendation is for approval with the following conditions pertaining to traffic circulation and safety, including the northern exit must indicate it is an exit only through proper signage and black tom painting. The rear parking to reduce the two angled spots to one parallel parking, to add for additional room for cars to utilize that northern exit, again, improving safety there. And then the third, the approval of the requested variances by the Colerain Township Board of Zoning Appeals will become null and void in 1 year of the effective date of the approval unless the required applications for all necessary zoning certificates have been received by the Development Department. And that concludes staff's report.
Does anyone have questions for staff? I see none. Is the applicant present? Would you like to come speak and give your presentation, please? When you come, make sure you give your name and address for the record.
We weren't sure if Lisa Seeger, Stephanie Myers, and we weren't sure if a PowerPoint would go up on the board or not, so we did print our PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
Is it okay if we pass the packet to
Let
everyone?
me review it. Thank you. This is what we're going to see on the PowerPoint? Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Let it be shown that we've received a slide presentation for each of the board members. Have been given a copy as well as the staff. There you go.
So we'll make this really brief. We really were here more for if you had any questions, but on our presentation, that first slide there that says Legacy Tavern, that will be the signage that we'd like to propose in regards to when we put that application in regards to the emblem, the signage on it. I think you've seen the site plan that was up on there, but again, that is another slide of it. Our adjacent property owners, we have talked to the two that are completely adjacent, which are Sports Machine at 9033. I'm sorry, we have not talked to Sports Machine 9033, but we have talked to Joseph Toyota at 9101 Colerain Avenue. In regards to the off-street parking, we know it was mentioned, we are at 960 square feet. We do have a total of 20 parking spaces, but of course with the recommendation, that would make it 19 parking places. But it does say that we do need at 1,000 square feet to have 15 parking spaces. We do also have 2 designated handicap spaces within that. And we also agree with that agreement we had talked about in regards to an exit only on the back side of the building. If you're looking down from that aerial view, it really is just a one driveway coming in and out from, yes, correct. And coming in and out is 37 feet coming in and out on the front, but on the back side, we do want to make sure that it is only an exit only. And those are 3 diagonal lines at this time, that the recommendation was the parallel lines. If you flip to the next page, the pictures that are just shown there at the top, which this picture also shows well that it is a complete circle in regards to coming in and out. There is a turn lane there on Colerain Avenue. So if they came out of it and are turning right, the median has a concrete barrier in the middle. So of course they can only turn right, which is what we would want for that to happen. But there is a right-hand turn lane, so they would not be going directly into traffic at that point. If they came out onto Pool Road, of course, they could turn left or right with the appropriate, because there is a signal there at the light, so they could watch appropriateness, whether the light was green or red, to allow them the traffic time in which to turn in or out of the location. On the next part where it says proposed signage, again, the slides are small being printed out, but we will want to just put the signage where it is currently. Yes, right there. It would be below Visiting Angels, where the dentist office is currently at. It would be the same location, but it would be where the dentist office underneath is. So that would be the only signage, changing the name from the dentist office to our location name, which is Colerain's Legacy Tavern. In regards to the non-conforming uses, we were requesting, that was our understanding, that we did not meet that, and so we would like to request a variance for the non-conforming portion. And in regards to waste receptacles, we plan to use 32 gallons or more, depending on what Rumpke will allow us to have, so it won't be a dumpster actual placement. And also, Colerain Avenue does have the street lights, so it is very lit up during the evening hours, overnight hours on that. Visiting Angels is closed during our open hours, so it's not a same time coming open. You know, the business is not open at the same time as the other business that's located in there. That is how we would have all of the parking spaces. And then on the last page, we were just wanting to show that we do have 2 entrances on the front side of Colerain Avenue and on the side of Pool. The front side is a porch covered, and the side Pool is also covered. It is a handicap accessible entrance on Pool Road, and on the front there are 2 steps to step up. So, but patrons could enter on either one of those actual spaces. We are a 48-year business that has been in Colerain Township, and we're not sure if you are familiar with us or not, type of a thing. And unfortunately, we were not looking to move, but due to circumstances beyond our control, it has required us to look for a new location, and that is why we're here today.
Thank you. Anyone speaking in favor? I see none. Anyone speaking in opposition? I see none. Can we have a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and second made. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Bartol?
Yes.
Mr. Shupp?
Aye.
Mr. Saito?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto? Yes.
Okay, Mr. Roberto. I know we talked about not you having vote.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
However we want to do that.
Fair enough.
So we'll go down the board members. So, Mr. Seidel, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, sir.
Mr. Shupp?
No, I don't.
Ms. Owens?
No questions.
I know you do. Mr. Bartle?
Yes. Well, first of all, for staff, is it the property is non-conforming because of something historically?
Correct. So
Okay.
there's stuff like the
Long-
impervious surface can't be met. I
Okay.
can't remember if the building size, like it's
Yeah.
table 7, table 8.1, table 8.2 is kind of semantics.
Okay. And then for the applicant, if you could come back up. Although, I don't know if you know this question, maybe staff does. So as far as Rumpke and trash, are they putting out just cans like on Pole Road? Is that how that works?
Currently, that is where, if you could go to the back driveway. Currently, if you see their trash, that is actually trash night. Yep, that is where theirs is placed at. We would actually not like to have it up the driveway higher, but again, we would work with Rumpke to know where they'd like us to put it out as, because as I said, that is, I turned in the measurements on that driveway.
It just seems like certain,
I just want to make sure, because I don't know that there would be enough room on trash night to, like with a car coming out. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, we're closed.
So, no.
Yeah, that's true, we're
Yeah,
closed.
trash doesn't get picked
So
up
it's
till
not,
4 a.m.
exactly. And they do it after after our business is closed to put the trash out.
Oh.
So the employees, so yeah, it wouldn't affect, that's the only thing I was wondering about, yeah.
No.
yeah, obviously some of the larger taverns and bars produce quite a bit of trash. And
Yes. Our tavern, though, on an average is about 10 to 12 patrons are at any average time.
Yeah.
We're not a large, type of tavern. And we only serve the required things that you need to serve in regards to food and that. We don't serve like a menu style or anything in regards to food type. So, no, it's, in that part, so.
and then how do you handle deliveries?
So deliveries, at least in the past, have always been on Wednesday. That back door,
Yeah,
Again-
they can come back. They've already
yeah.
came to-
And again, they come in the morning, and we would not interfere in any way with Visiting Angels. They have about 3 parking places that they use right out front. They're an agency, a home agency that goes out and actually visits. So it is the owner and like the secretary, and I think the office manager is also there. So there's about 3 cars out front. And Wednesday mornings around 10 a.m., 10 to 11 a.m. is when deliveries are made by all the vendors.
Okay.
We don't
Yeah.
open until 5 p.m.
Okay.
on weekdays, and then sometimes 4 o'clock on weekends, so. And Visiting Angels is only open Monday through Friday, and they close at 4.
I'll do that. Okay. All right.
I actually do have a
So,
question.
yeah, I think I'm done.
Yes, Ms. Owens?
The covered entrances, I've noticed on here, it looks, like there's seating out there. Will you be doing anything to promote like activities, serving drinks or food on that? Because that's like on the Colerain side, isn't it?
No promotion. The only thing is if, there's no smoking indoors, so there would have to be a designated smoking area. And our preferred would be on the porch to keep it contained because it is completely 100% enclosed, gated all the way around.
Thank you.
You're good? Okay. All right, staff, what if we're taking and encompassing both their property and the Angels, because there may not always be Angels in there, so there could be some other tenant that could be in there at the same time frame. What would be the requirement for parking? Do they have adequate parking for the whole square footage of the building?
I will.
Because theirs is 1,000 square feet, and I would imagine the other side is probably similar.
I believe it's similar in size, yes.
The owner of the building is Visiting Angels, so it's never gonna, I
That-
don't think, change. He bought it from the dentist office, so.
But the next owner could be somebody else,
Oh, yeah, an owner, that's right.
and so they could have a different use, and therefore,
That's open
now
at
they don't have
night.
parking, so that's why I'm,
Yeah, they could be open at night.
right, and that's what I just want to kind of address that now.
Yeah, it just depends on the use that would go in to, if it was another, what would be permitted there as of right would be pub, I would say presume professional office.
Let's say it's like an accountant that does tax returns at night.
So
or
it's 3
something.
spaces per 1,000 square feet.
Right.
And if it's 1,000 square feet, that puts them at 18 parking spaces required if they're operating at the same time. And with modification, it would be at 19 spaces.
So we're covered that way.
Yeah, I would have to see the specifics of the floor plan of the adjacent unit. But if it were somewhere in that range, and then I think there's another provision we're talking about plus or minus some administrative powers, or that would be that'd come in front of you, the Board of Zoning Appeals, for a separate need.
And I'm only looking at, all right, so the next owner comes in.
Sure.
And now we've created a hardship because we've now designated all the parking spaces to the tavern, and now they have nothing because they're operating at the same time frame, potentially. All right, and deliveries, well, I was a little concerned about deliveries. So what kind of, are you bringing a semi-truck in? How do you get
No.
your deliveries?
It's like a little, one of the vans, like a little beer truck. It's just a little van that they, like what do you call one of those? Like almost like a work van.
So
that delivers
it's
A sprinter,
On Wednesdays,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, 'cause we
not
don't
a
get
box
very much
truck
beer
like from
around.
Home Depot.
right, like a sprinter truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was concerned about going in and out on Pool Road from that, I was thinking they'd have to back into that space. That's all the questions I have. So you're planning on doing a Rupke trash can, and your one trash can is going to suffice you for an entire week?
I don't think one is going to supply us, but we also would have recycling too, because we have like cardboard boxes that we break down and things like that, so.
So
we-
potentially 2 to 3 cans?
Right.
Okay. All right.
But does Visiting Angels put theirs out in the same spot?
That's their trash,
So it'll
apparently.
all be there?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he actually has one can now. I don't, maybe he didn't have one at that time of that picture, but he has one can.
I would prefer it being a can rather than that.
I know, it's not normally like that, that's why.
I don't know how
Yeah.
that old
It's
that
just,
picture is.
it's a street view.
That's what I mean. He has a can
Depends on the
now.
day.
He does have a can, and he uses one can that he puts out.
Okay. I don't have anything else. Does anybody want to make a motion? Is everybody good? I mean, any more questions?
Oh, no. I think
Anyone would like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve it with the 3 recommendations made by the staff.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second has been made. Any discussion? See none. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Bartol,
Yes.
Mr. Shutt,
Yes.
Mr. Saito? Yes. Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Your appeal has been granted.
Thank you.
And wish you well. And look for good things in Colerain Township from you.
Thanks.
As I say, we plan to be here another half a century, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You too.
Next on the docket is unfinished business. I see none. Next would be approval of minutes for the January 25th, 2023 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
And do we have a second?
Second it.
Second been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Bartol,
Yes.
Mr. Shutt,
Yes.
Mr. Saito?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Next meeting would be March the 29th, 2023. Do we have a case?
We do, yep.
Okay, perfect. Administrative matters, you want to discuss the changes of the BZA bylaws?
Sure. So we had discussed in the past perhaps amending the bylaws to include the organizational meeting, shifting that to January, again, when the trustees vote in members of the BZA, to correlate again with all the other boards that we have, and a plethora of other reasons to realign those together. So this is simply an introduction. Next week, we can vote on actually amending those if you'd like. If there's any other changes that would like to be made. I know there was some discussion about the minutes themselves as well. If we wanted to change the format to how the minutes are transcribed, or if there are any other sections of the bylaws that anyone would be looking for clarification on, or
Can I address that? So as part of parliamentary training that I went to, one of the things that they brought up was that the minutes are supposed to be very succinct and not so broad as what we have. As there's a lot of scope as who said what and all discussion, and it's supposed to be what the meeting is about and pretty much the outcome of it. And all the in-between stuff is really, it should be transcribed either by record or by video. If it should need to go to court, he's not the transcriber. I mean, we actually would have a transcriber transcribe the documentations. And so I was just looking at it from a staff perspective. They have better time spent on writing what transpired, not necessarily, just make it
more
succinct. Absolutely. So that's where that kind of came into play, and that's where the discussion was coming in.
Yeah, what I currently write up is a hybrid between a transcript and what minutes typically are. So yeah, if we wanted to amend that to something more succinct to what Mr. Roberto found with his parliamentary training, or if maybe we wanted to go full transcript, I'm assuming not since we have video, but it's really up to, again, this is just an introduction to if that's something that we would be interested in, staff can work on drafting some of those amendments and getting it to you all for next month's meeting.
Can you distribute the bylaws to each of the members so they have a chance to review it before next month's meeting? Perfect. Thank you.
I will send those to everyone's email.
Great. All right, anything else you want to discuss on that?
That's good. I hope everyone had a happy President's Day.
You had a great day.
Thank you.
Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second's been made. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Bartol?
Yes.
Mr. Shupp?
Yes.
Mr. Saito?
Yes.
Mr. Roberto?
Yes. Meeting is adjourned.